Hello.
Hello.
Good
Hey,
morning.
hey, hey. Oh, it's just three of us right now. Yeah. Hey man, how
Where's
do I
everyone
pronounce the
else?
name? Klaidas.
Yes.
Yes, perfect. Okay.
You were checking the mics, right?
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect. Awesome.
So how are you? How are you, Amy? How are you, Klaidas? How are things?
Ladies first.
Thank you. Good. Just really, really busy.
Yeah.
So, it's crazy. You think with AI that we can get more done in our businesses, which is true. But I also thought that as a consultant, that
Yeah.
I would get way less work because
Uh-huh.
people have AI now. But the
Right.
opposite has happened. So
Right.
it's like, okay, now I can take on a lot more clients and do a lot more for them because of
Mhm.
AI. But now the work is just coming like crazy. So yeah, it's been fun. I
Right.
don't know if other people have had that experience too.
And, uh, and there's a lot more to get done.
Yeah,
Lot
because
more
you can
to
do so
get
much
done.
more.
Right.
Exactly.
And I think
Exactly.
it's also about experimenting with AI also takes a lot of your time. Right? So say
Oh
if you
yeah.
have
The
to say
research.
now explore cloud design, it'll take you 2 days to basically figure out to make it work, right? So every time basically new one of these new tools comes in, like I end up spending like couple of my days just to just to figure out what's working, what's not working. But I think you have to try and figure out. Just looking at the marketing, it's super hard, super difficult to figure out which tool works, right? Which tool is doing what it claims. Hey, Sean.
How's it going?
Good, good. And I think we also recently launched our MCP, and then we have been getting crazy traction on MCP, right? I think within a week's time, now we have more than 100 clients who are using it, like less than a week time, right? So like, and then they have all those sort of questions. How do I use this? Can you give me like prompts I should be using? Right? So it ends up like creating more work, but I think good work uh, for the team.
Hey everybody.
Hi there.
Hey,
All right.
Pasha.
See some familiar
Oh,
faces for sure.
good to see you, Shane.
Yeah, nice to see you guys. And Sean,
I'm
it's been too
jealous of
long,
your
buddy.
coffee, Shane. You're making me want another cup of coffee this morning.
I I'll be honest, we were running it really thin. I was like, do I have time to make coffee? My wife's like, hey, I'll make you another one. I was like, you are an angel from the heavens. Jeez Louise. So she brought me over this coffee, and I didn't know if you heard me, but I said, thank you, my love. And that's because I truly mean that, because she just brought me another cup of coffee. So caffeine's important in this house. Very important. Almost important as IPAs, but that's a whole another conversation, probably for another time. Yeah.
When you
Are,
said
are, are you
thank you,
guys
my love, I thought you were talking to me.
I'm
are
so
you
glad
guys
I'm not
all
the
in the
only one
same?
who changed the background.
Yeah.
Uh,
I joined and saw this pink background and I was like, oh no, I don't think I can pull that off. Like,
I
and
thought
am
I
I
thought
the
that
only
was just
girl in
some
this thing?
update.
But if I can't pull off the pink background, I mean, Dmytro down here, he's pulling it off. Like, you're making it happen. I was just like, I can't do it. It blends right in with my white lady from Wisconsin skin.
Right.
It's not working for me. So, Akash, are we starting this like right 3 minutes ago, or are we
Right.
starting a little bit late? What are we
That's a
doing?
that's a good question. Right. So we had more than 200 people who subscribed for the webinar. Maybe I will wait like maybe 2 more minutes and then we'll kick this off. Right. And since there are like nine of us, we'll try to keep it like under 10 minutes. Right. Like 10 to 12 minutes, we'll try to wrap up each of our sessions.
Okay. And are you, oh, we already have the order, right?
Yes, 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 we do. Yeah.
Okay,
So,
cool.
so you are next, basically. So I'll go first and then it's Amy, Shane, Pasha, and then yeah.
Then the rest. We'll
Then
so we'll sort it out.
Dimitro, Tempest, Mark, Klaidas, and Sean.
We'll try to be cool so that you guys can, you know,
No, 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 no.
we'll
Go
try to be
all out.
easy to follow.
You gotta go all out. Like, so everyone's like so interested. Like, oh my God, if this was the first, what's gonna go next?
Right.
I know, right? And like with just 10 minutes, it's very hard to like give people anything real. But
You can't go more into context. Like, you gotta go straight into the thing without. And what
yeah,
can get
I'm actually
missing?
doing a full like 90-minute webinar tomorrow on this topic
Nice.
specifically. So I'm just gonna brush
Perfect.
over it and I give people the invite link in the little cheat sheet tab. But yeah, because it's it's too in depth, but at least I can give people the idea. So that'll be helpful.
We got 27 attendees in the Zoom call. Are there more people like in other platforms, or we just record this, we get it out, we do it live for the people that are here?
I think there more people should join, right? So
Yeah.
last one was like 71 attendees.
All right, awesome.
And then once we record this, we'll send out to the entire list of 250 people who signed up. And then like so at SellerMate we have around like 10,000 emails. So we'll also send them to the recording to all of them. So
Perfect. Awesome.
well, I think more people are joining in, but I think we'll start. We'll quickly get started. Right. So let me just share my screen. Perfect. I hope everyone is able to see my screen.
Yeah. That's
Perfect.
all right.
Yeah. So yeah, so welcome everyone. So this is our third episode of Beyond the Hype series, right? And in this series, we try to talk about leveraging AI and automation in e-commerce, right? And try to basically be more realistic instead of like a lot of hype you see otherwise in the space. All right. So quickly, like a brief intro about me, about SellerMate.ai, right? So I'm Akash, I'm the co-founder and CEO of SellerMate.ai. I've been building AI product for almost 10 years now. Before SellerMate, I was the co-founder CTO at Observe.ai. So after Observe, I was trying to figure out what next to build, right? And that's where the entire retail media piece came up as one of the fastest growing space, right? So even if you look at today, the entire retail media, which is basically advertisements on e-commerce, is growing at 20% year over year. Right. And talking about SellerMate, we founded this in 2023, right? More likely November, December 2023 to end of the year, right? 2024 was a real first year of go-to-market. So we started working with a handful of agencies to build out the product, its capabilities, ended the year with around 5 plus agencies, 300 plus brands. Last year was a good year for us. So we ended up onboarding more than 20 plus agencies, 1,500 brands with agencies directly working with us, right, across like multiple geographies. And as of now, more than 50 agencies are on the platform, 2,200 brands. We are managing around 200 million ad spend annually. All right, so that's like a brief about me, about SellerMate.ai. Right, just directly jumping into the topic of the conversation, right? So I think one of the biggest challenge where I see when I talk to people about AI, about automation, is that people think of it as like a one-step process, right? Where they'll set the automation and then it will take care from there on, right? But what I've seen is it's more of like a cyclic, where you so think of it as like build, measure, learn in lean startup, right? Where the step one would be, say you want to figure out what's broken in your operations, what's working, what's not working, right? After that is you would set up your automations, and then finally once you set up your automation, the most critical step is reviewing the output of your automations, right? And then you basically do it a couple of times until you reach a stage where your system is is stable, right? You won't get your desired outcome in in the first go, right? You'll have to do it a couple of times, figure out what's working, what's not working, right? And luckily we have built out all these three capabilities within the SellerMate platform, right? So I'll quickly walk everyone through the slides, and after that, I'll do like a quick product demo, touching on some of the key capabilities, right? So our AI agent, it has access to your all of your Amazon data. So it has access to your ads data, your Seller Central, Vendor Central data. It has access to your listing, your reviews, your copy images, right? It also has access to your inventory levels, BSR, Harley heat maps, right? So basically all of your Amazon, your product pages, your ads data, your organic data, inventory level, all of that data, right? And anyone who has used LLMs and tried to do any sort of analysis, one of the biggest challenges they run into is hallucinations, right? And one of the biggest reasons for that hallucination is the context window, right? So all of these LLMs have like a fixed memory, the fixed amount of data they can hold in memory, right? And so if you upload like a huge Excel sheet with say your 500 of your ASINs, like 2000 campaigns, all of that will not fit into the memory, right? And then the LLMs basically end up hallucinating. So what we have done is we've created like a proprietary or like a dedicated data platform, right? So all of our queries, all of our analytics queries, they run on the data platform, and the LLM is mostly the brain, right? So what this makes sure is your whatever data you get is accurate, it doesn't hallucinate, right? So I'll quickly walk you through maybe like two use two I think examples I had, right? So this is what the platform looks like when you land on it. Well, I'll quickly talk about the AI agent. So this is like a very simple query I'm writing, right? So for example, summarize the story behind my performance change. After performing the analysis, please present it in a visual format so that I can present it to my team, right? So the agent goes, it looks at all of your data, it spends like 6 minutes doing all sort of analysis, and it's giving you like, okay, these are my key observations, your efficiency metrics, your anomalies. It's also giving like an actionable insights. And since we asked for a visual representation, what it goes ahead and does is creates like a customer dashboard depending on your query. Uh, right? So, and the dashboard comes with basically the pointers you to talk about and why each of these graphs makes sense, right? So there are multiple use cases for this. You can, as an agency, you can use it for auditing uh, your clients. As a brand, you can do your weekly analysis, monthly analysis, uh, right? So this was like a very simple prompt. One second. The next example I have is more of a much more detailed prompt, right? So the output of LLM is as good as your prompt is, right? So in this example, what I've done is I've given it a little more detailed prompt, right? So I'm asking it to analyze these three specifications and follow like a 5-step process, right? So step one is do a performance analysis. Step two, do a root cause analysis. Step three, do a keyword system insights. Step four, like an action plan, and do also like a 30-day forecast, right? So basically, it goes ahead, spends like I think, a little more time because it's a lot more data, right? And as whatever you ask it to do, right? So it did like a performance analysis, all of your numbers, ad numbers, your full funnel number. It also gives like a ranking, right? Step two, it does like a root cause analysis. It gives you all the dimension. Is it like a traffic problem? Is it a conversion problem? Is it a CPC problem, revenue problem? What's the root cause? And it then evaluates all of your agents. And again, step three, uh, it looks at your main search terms, and then also gives you, okay, you should be scaling these, you should be optimizing these ones don't look good, looking at the performance, right? And then like a little more deeper analysis. Finally, since we asked for it, it gives like a actionable plan, right? And what's the expected impact? And then finally, if you follow all these recommendations, what will the forecast look like, right? And what you've also done is you can also download it as a PDF. So say as an agency, you want to do like an audit of an account, you want to send it to a client, you can directly send this report, right? And then, as I was saying, we recently also launched our MCP. So anyone, if you're looking at combining your Amazon data with your say Shopify data and your Meta and Google data, so basically our MCP will bring all of this data, all of this analysis into your own cloud instance, and then you can marry it with your Shopify, all of other platforms, right? So that's like the step one. How do we help you diagnose? right? The step two is basically the automation, right? So this was, I think, one of the first things we built out in our platform, where you can essentially automate up 70 to 80% of your day-to-day ad operations. So from bid adjustment to budget adjustments, harvesting, placements, right? So you can set all those sort of rules. So let me quickly go through the platform. Right. So there are a lot of things. I'll only touch upon like a few of them. Right. So systems comes out of the box with a bunch of different templates for you to run and optimize your ads. And then if you don't like them, you can also create your own basically custom rules, right? So our philosophy behind these automations was like a lot of the older tools in this space, where what they allow you to do is you have to basically set targets. You can set cost targets, sales targets, and the tool takes care of everything. So it becomes like a black box for you, right? So instead of it becoming a black box, it gives you the same amount of power, but then you have the opportunity to set up your own rules, your automations, right? So for example, I think I like this one, where basically looking at your inventory level, you can look at, okay, how many days of I would say inventory you have in hand. Say it's 15 days. You want to pause your product. So what this will do is it will look at all of your ASINs, find campaigns where this is being advertised, and it will pause those products in those campaigns, right? And then say again, if your inventory is back, okay, so you are back in inventory, so it will automatically enable your product, right? So what this will allow you to do is, say if you have a lot of ASINs, hundreds or thousands of ASINs, and they keep coming and going out of stock, so this will automatically make sure you're not spending on products or on ASINs which are not making money. And then you have like your search term placement, all those different sort of automation. We do also have like an intraday automations where you can set up your bids, budgets, and placements throughout the day. Right. So instead of it being like a one blob where your budget resets at 12 in the night, and then you end up like spending a lot of budget when no one is actually buying. Right. So you can set those sort of rules within the product. You can choose, okay, I want to increase my bid. So maybe 1.5 would mean I want to increase my bid by 50%. And say if in the night you want to decrease my bid, I don't want to spend money here. So whether you just do it like zero point 0.2, and then basically it will go and change your bids automatically for you, right? And then like a few more, right? So this is on the automation. And then finally, I think the review pieces where what we have seen is like agencies, brands, they do have their own cadence, right? So they would usually look at like a daily. There some things they will look at daily, some things they'll look at weekly, monthly, and then a quarterly level, right? So to enable that, we have like various tons of different reports in the product, uh, right? So for example, I really like this product level view where you look at your products across your ad type. Uh, Across different views. You can look at vendor performance, inventory, all those sort of things. You can also just quickly go back. You can do an ad overview. You can do like a retail overview. So if you also have a seller center, wellness central accounts added to on a platform, we could also give you like an overall 360-degree view of what's happening, right? And then if you don't are not happy with the out of the box reports, you can basically go ahead and create your own custom reports. And as an added bonus for agencies, what we have also done is we have white labeled our reports. So you can basically have your own branding, your own logo on your own website, right? And then you can create whatever reports you want, share with your clients, and when they log in on your version of your app, they'll only see the reports. So no need to download reports, Excels, PDFs, send them on WhatsApp, send them on email. You can just share this dashboard with them, and then they can basically always have access to their data, uh, right? So basically, this is how I'll imagine like someone using the platform or using the automation operating system, where you want to figure out what's wrong with their accounts, what ASINs are working, what ASINs are not working, what systems are working, right, which listings are not working. Then you basically, instead of you going and doing it every day, you set up like an automation guardrails which does 80% of your work, and then you basically go ahead and review the work uh, of that automation. Right. So hopefully, yes. Yeah. So yeah, I think little more than 10 minutes, but yeah. So that was about it. I'll send these resources on the chat. And yeah, if any one of you is interested in like a demo, you can book a demo. We'll more than happy to do like a deep dive of the product and if you want to in general learn about AI, uh, so we'll be more than happy to walk you through some of our best practices. Thank you, everyone. Amy, you are next.
Awesome. Thank you, Akash. Is that really true that you guys have a free forever plan? So
There's one
I
free.
can
Yes, yeah. There's
I can
free
just
forever.
go to SellerMate and try it
Yeah.
out and
Yes.
no credit card required.
Ye-
Cool. That's pretty cool. I like that. That's good value. All right. Let me get going here. What's up, everybody? Hi, I'm Amy Weiss, and I'm going to show you something pretty cool today. I'm not going to be able to get too far into it at 10 minutes, but I have to tell you, the results from this have been absolutely incredible. I met with a client yesterday that I ran this process for over 6 months ago. And when he first came to me, his sales were down over 40%. And we discovered through this process, not only was he calling out all the wrong things in his listing to actually convert the customer, but he also was in the wrong category. Rufus identified that he was in the wrong subcategory and that was costing him sales. And we were able to correct it. And after this, in the first month after we optimized his listing using this process, his sales were up 40% year over year. Now, 6 months later, they're up 56% year over year. His market share in Helium 10's market tracker, he was at 15% of market share. Now he is at 25% of the market share. His tacos, before he started with us, was at 35%, and now it is at 16%. So this process really, really, really works, and we're seeing a minimum of 30% increase in conversions and sales when we run this process. And it is a manual process, and nobody has been able to automate it yet, but it is worth every step. So I'm going to share my screen here, and let me hit the present button. So I want to talk about AI optimization fails because everybody is telling you guys, excuse me, everybody is telling you guys to optimize your listings and your Shopify and your TikTok for AI. But I have so many people coming to me going, Amy, I paid this company. They said they did an AI optimization, or I used this software, or I used this ChatGPT plugin that somebody built, and it didn't make any difference in my sales. So I'm going to teach you a process here and show you why this didn't make any difference in your sales and how you can actually fix it. Okay, so who the heck am I? I've been on Amazon since 2007. When I was in the military, I started flipping textbooks. In 2017, I invented a product. I grew that brand over 7 figures. I exited in 2024. When I first started getting started, I have a background in cybersecurity, a military background, so I'm a little bit of a tech nerd. And when I started needing to pay for my molds for my invented product, I went on Fiverr.com and I started doing copywriting. Well, in order for me to learn Amazon's ranking algorithm, I reverse engineered Google's algorithm and started testing different things with the Amazon listings that I was writing. And so I've learned all about ranking, and I helped hundreds of people rank their listings and grow on Amazon. And then all of a sudden, AI comes around and everything about ranking changes. And so now I started testing new things, right? And so you can always reach out to me on my website, amazingathome.com. I have an Ask Amy form right on my homepage, and I can help you with anything from listing optimization to consulting to fractional work for your company. But anyway, enough about that. Let's get into it. So, like I said, you guys are all being told the same thing. You need to be optimized for AI everywhere you sell. But you do this and you're like, it's not making any difference, Amy. I'm not selling more. I'm not. In fact, some of you are telling me you're selling less. You optimized, you did all the things that Claude told you to do, that ChatGPT told you to do, that this software company told you to do, and you're not getting anywhere. Well, I have the reason for you. The reason is because you're not answering this question. What are you optimizing for AI? You're optimizing your listing or whatever you're optimizing. If your listing is broken already and you're not connecting with the customer, you're not connecting with that avatar, which I can tell you in the years of listing optimization I've been doing, that's what most people are getting wrong, is they don't actually know their avatar. They're very feature heavy. They're not, the customer doesn't understand, is this product for me? So what most people are doing is they're going to their software tools like Helium 10 or ZonGuru, and they're like, I got a good listing optimization score. I've got all my keywords. Everything's good. Now optimize it for AI. If you're not optimized for conversions, for converting the customer, it doesn't matter how many good keywords you use, doesn't matter. All you're going to do is amplify. AI is going to amplify your message. So if you want more people to come to your listing and not buy, then you should take your existing listing and you should optimize it for AI. But if you want more people to come to your listing and buy, then you should first optimize your listing for conversions. And how do you do that? Well, now, because of AI, we are at a time in history that we have never been before. When we used to optimize listings, we would go and find the right keywords. And we would search, okay, what's the highest volume keyword? How can I rank for it? What can I do? Well, times are a-changing because now customers are actually having conversations with AI. They're asking questions about products. They're not just searching a keyword anymore. It is changing. So now, guess what, you guys? You have access to that data. For the first time in history, you can find out what questions customers are asking before they buy your product or your competitor's product. You can find out why they make a purchase decision. We've never had that context before in history. So I'm going to show you how to get that context so that you can optimize your listings for conversions first. And then the AI part is beautiful because it's going to amplify it and you're going to get more traffic and you're going to get more conversions, just like my client here who's at 56% year-over-year growth. So as I mentioned before, you need to understand keywords versus customer choices because we can run all the right keywords. Many of you spend a lot of money on PPC. You're getting people to your listing and they're not buying, or you don't have a conversion rate that's great, right? So it doesn't matter. You can have all the right keywords, but if you're not going to convert that customer, you really need to focus on that because then when you run your PPC, you're going to actually have great results. Like my client who had a tacos at 35% and is now at 16%. So understand, first of all, how does AI read? So before we used to just focus on keywords and we would have good images, but AI reads everything. So now in your ranking algorithm, Amazon's AI is actually looking at your images and it's making choices and decisions about your images. It's looking at your reviews. And not only is it looking at the reviews, it's deciding. So one of my clients, he's a phone case company, and we ran this process on his, and we learned that AI thought that his phone case came with a screen protector. It did not. So that was actually costing him sales. And if he had just run his listing through an AI listing optimization process, he would have missed all of this. But we learned that the AI actually made this inference about one of his pictures that was like a layered picture, and it thought that that was a screen protector. So it was telling customers that, and it was answering Q&A like that. It's all built together. It's not just the plain text, it's context around it. So your A+ content, your images, and not just that, but even competitor data. It will compare against and it will make decisions based on that. So 2 years ago, I spoke at the Prosper Show in Las Vegas, and I just put an image into ChatGPT, and I said, I'd like to write an Amazon product listing for this product. Can you help me by first describing the product from a picture I upload? So that's what I did. And ChatGPT knew that these were glass drinking jars with reusable straws. It knew that this was fruit-infused water with strawberries and lemons and effervescent bubbles. And it said, oh, this is a refreshing beverage option. It made decisions about that. It said that the lids were a calming blue pastel shade. So it's making decisions, right? It says that it has a silicone seal. It makes decisions about the materials. So even if you're writing text in your listing, and in the phone case guy's situation, he had very short bullet points. So, a lot of people test their bullet points. He was not providing enough context, and his images were very plain. So the AI didn't have the data. And so it didn't know what to tell the customer. So we really have to change our whole process, and you have to understand how AI reads and understands your listings and your images. Everything is signal. So Amazon's own COSMO and RUFUS. COSMO is the back end. RUFUS is the front end shopping assistant, which, by the way, it's way more than a shopping assistant, because if you do it right, you can tap into some amazing gold that Amazon has in its back end of COSMO. And I'm going to show you how to do that. So, for example, this connection between COSMO and RUFUS here from Amazon, this pregnant woman shops for, it knows that she's pregnant because she's bought other things, right? And she bought a slip resistant shoe. So automatically it decides that pregnant women require slip resistant shoes, right? So if you can find out this information about additional avatars for your product and you can add it in, which one do you think the AI is going to recommend? So remember, AI amplifies your existing messaging. So if you have the wrong message, you're just going to get bigger reach to the wrong message. And that's what's happening with all these automated AI optimization tools. Yes, they're running market data, but all of this inference is happening. So if you don't just change your initial listing for your specific avatar and feed that information to AI, you're just going to amplify what's already broken. So conversion is your true goal, because people buy, AI doesn't. Right now, AI is making some purchase decisions, but it's based on that knowledge of the user. So I had a juice cleanse client, and we ran this whole process on her, and she had incredible results as well. But before, RUFUS told us this product is too expensive. I asked RUFUS, I said, why don't, what problems do people have with this product? And RUFUS said, it's too expensive. She did not have any comparison images. And I understand that her closest comparison is a raw juice cleanse. And that's $12 to $15 per bottle. And she was selling for $5 a bottle. So when we added a comparison image, because customers really cared about the price of this and they were seeing it as expensive, and so was the AI because of that, when we changed the comparison image and made it to a $5 juice cleanse compared to $15, which is what most single market bottles of juice cleanse cost, suddenly the AI is speaking a different language to customers, and people are converting because they are going, oh my gosh, I'm saving money. So these are the differences you have to make. If you had run this through an automated AI optimization program, it would have just optimized what was already there. We wouldn't have uncovered these beautiful nuggets. Okay. So how do you do this? Okay, I'm going to get into it here, and I know I'm probably almost out of time, so I'm going to give you guys a little guide. I'm doing a full 90-minute webinar on this tomorrow. If you guys want to join, you can also get the replay. I'll provide you that as well. Okay, so you can use RUFUS. You have to use RUFUS for this process. But you also can you're going to combine RUFUS with your favorite AI tool. I put ChatGPT here because most people are familiar with ChatGPT, but insert your favorite AI tool there. Manus, Claude, whatever you want. I don't care. It's the same process. I'm just going to give you some basic prompts to do, right? So RUFUS is right on Amazon.com. It is also on, the mobile app as well. You just click this little button and it will open up a little chat. And you can even now access your chat histories, which is kind of cool. But anyway, that's your tool set. And here's the process you're going to go through. You're going to first diagnose your conversion problems through this kind of questioning process. You're going to leverage RUFUS's intelligence to do that. You're going to deploy ChatGPT or insert your favorite AI here strategically to get it to ask RUFUS even more questions. So first you're going to ask RUFUS some basic questions. Then you're going to feed all that data into AI. Then you're going to ask the AI to come up with more questions to ask RUFUS. This usually results in about 120 pages of data that I get from Rufus. And it is incredible data. I've gotten Rufus to be able to rewrite entire listings. I've gotten it to tell me exactly what's wrong and exactly what it would do. As I mentioned, my client was in the wrong category. Rufus was the one who told us that. They were like, you're missing out on this many sales, this many. But if you guys just go to Rufus right now and you're like, what should I do with my listing? Rufus is going to go, I'm a shopping assistant. I cannot help you. But if you follow this process and you let the AI talk to the AI, they have like this special little language, it unlocks Rufus Gold. And it is incredible the data that you can get out of it. So you're going to deploy your AI strategically. You're going to pinpoint the exact changes needed and then build that into a repeatable system to always optimize your listings. Okay, so remember, your optimization sequence matters. So first, you're going to learn, how does AI understand this product? Then you're going to learn, what do customers care about when they're making a purchase decision about this? Then you're going to understand what doesn't match. Okay, AI thinks this, customers think this. Here's what the listing says. What's not matching and what do I need to change? Then you're going to use AI to process all this data because it's way too much data. And then optimize your text and images accordingly. All right. So the very first step is you're just going to open up Rufus and you're going to ask some questions. 5 questions. What is this product for? What do people like about this product? What don't people like about this product? What are people buying instead of this product? And why do people choose this product over those alternatives? So you're going to ask these first 5 questions, and don't worry, you guys, I'm going to give you a guide that has all these prompts, all this stuff in it. And then the next step, and I already explained this, Rufus needs context to work properly. If you just ask it to optimize your listing, it's going to tell you you're crazy. So you really do need this context, and using AI to help you get more questions is really, really powerful. So the second step is you're going to use your AI and you're going to take those first 5 questions. You're going to feed in the current listing copy, your current gallery images and A+ content, feedback from those first 5 questions that you copied and pasted into another document. And you're going to ask ChatGPT to first identify if there are any other questions you need to ask Rufus. Then go ask those questions to Rufus. That's where you're gonna get your 120 pages of gold. Then you're gonna provide those answers back to your AI, ChatGPT, Claude, whatever you want. And then it's going to identify opportunities to optimize the listing based on this data. And then you're going to get a fully optimized listing plan. Now, tomorrow in my webinar, I'm going to go over not only how you can do this whole thing and get this incredible optimized listing that actually converts, but also how you can take that plan and put it into Gemini and get listing ready images. So the whole process, we're going to show it tomorrow in the webinar. But anyway, I'm going to get out of here and so show you guys this document. So here is my little kind of hack document. It has all the prompts in it. And you guys are just going to go to bit.ly/AAH, that's for me, Amazing at Home, hacks. So https://bit.ly/AAH hacks. And so this is another version of this hack that I did earlier. Here's all the prompts, initial questions to ask Rufus, what additional information can you get? And then also, it breaks down the process a little bit. And then tomorrow, here's the link to join tomorrow's webinar. If you would like to join that or get registered to get the replay, it's in there. We'd love to have you. I'd love for you to see the kind of results that we've had for this. Just to show you real quick, this is where Rufus is. You just click here and you can start having a conversation about a listing, try it out. And here's my website, amazingathome.com. You can come over here to my homepage, and if you have any question for me, you can reach out. I also do free listing reviews, so if you want me to take a look at your listing, you can go underneath services, listing optimization, and I will take a look at your listing and send you a quick little video of what I think and what you can improve. And that's all I got. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Amy. I think that was really insightful, right? So my wife runs a Shopify store, right? And then when she was trying to ask ChatGPT about her page, ChatGPT would say that okay, you are running 30% discount, right? But on that page, there was nowhere it was mentioned that the product is on 30% discount, right? So what that led me to realize is that a lot of times what we are saying is not what the AI is saying, right? So for you to understand what AI sees, you have to give it to AI and understand from it what AI reads, right? So I even do it for my website, right? So I'll give it to say ChatGPT and ask me, okay, compare this with some other tool and like give me the difference. Then a lot of the times I think those differences should not be there, but then I go back and update the website. So I think that's like a good framework.
Thank you. Yeah, and I also love AI battles. So I love if I'm doing like a Shopify redesign or something like that, I love to take two different AIs and go,
Right.
okay, you do the same, put the same prompt in two different AIs, and then I'll make them battle each other. Give me a prompt to challenge this AI even further, and then I'll just like, and it's incredible the extra results you come out with when you do that. But yeah, can't wait to
Right.
hear everybody else's. Awesome.
Thank
Okay, Sean is asking about the link. So
you.
I only have the opportunity to send to hosts and panelists.
I
So
think you should, if you select everyone in the bottom
yeah,
of the
it doesn't
chat,
let me select everyone.
it doesn't. Okay,
You
No,
should
it's
be able.
okay.
You
I'll
should be
just
able
put it in
to
there and maybe
answer the
you
question.
can.
Amy,
ping me.
Amy,
I'll
you
put
gotta
it.
go into the Q&A section, not in the messages section, and then you can answer like the actual questions.
Okay.
Oh, thanks, Klaidas. I appreciate it. I don't
Good.
see Q&A, but it's okay. I'll put
I
it
see.
in. I'll put it in the.
Yeah.
I don't want to take anybody else's time.
Yeah.
I'll put it
Okay.
in the
Just put
host
it
and
in the
panelists, and
yeah
maybe
yeah
somebody with
there.
access can
Yes.
do it.
Yeah. So while we figure that out, next is Shane Barker. Shane, you are up next.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. So, yeah, we're going to be talking about this stuff called AI. I don't know if you guys have heard it or not before. It's kind of brand new, and some people are talking about it, just a handful of people on LinkedIn. And apparently, the two people before me are also talking about it. So I thought, you know what? Why not jump on the train, right? Why not jump on the AI train? So, really, what we're looking at, my name is Shane Barker. I'm the owner of TraceFuse. Give you a little backstory here in my next slide. But what we're going to talk about is how AI misleads your reviews and how reviews are quietly controlling your ranking in sales, right? And so, obviously, there was a great presentation, Amy, right before this, talking about RUFUS and COSMO and kind of the back end and what that looks like. Obviously, AI is as good as it is today. It's continuously improving. But right now, the reviews, Rufus is taking a look at your reviews and creating sentiment and a synopsis of what that looks like. So we've always said this, hey, make sure you're in control of your reviews and management and stuff like that. So we're going to kind of talk about that whole process. But I do want to let you guys know just a little bit about TraceFuse. We are, we're not only the biggest company, but we're the ones who actually started this space of review management, being able to remove critical reviews on your product listing. And I can tell you right now, we work with over 700 brands, and we've removed, this is a brand new number because we just evaluated this yesterday. We've removed over 20,000 reviews, product reviews for our customers. So we are the only company that's been able to have that kind of success. We have proprietary software, ROI calculators, all the fun stuff. But when it comes to review and the deep knowledge of reviews, especially when it comes to AI and how it affects your brands and sales, we've been doing this for a long, long time. So I just want to give you a little backstory there. So what we're going to cover today is, once again, how AI reads reviews, right? Which is going to be very, very important. Review strategies that actually work so we can spot, flag, and act on reviews that hurt performances. And we're also going to talk about reviews that impact sales, and then reviews to revenue, right? Obviously, reviews are going to be the lifeline of Amazon, meaning that if you have great reviews, in theory, you probably have great sales. If you have terrible reviews, you probably have terrible sales. So reviews are going to be the way that you can, obviously, if you're controlling your reviews and protecting your rankings, then you'll be able to get more sales at Amazon. So the painful truth about reviews, most Amazon brands think that it's just about reputation, but it actually is a conversion link, a big conversion link, or can be, right? If especially with Rufus picking up, back in the day, if you had 10,000 critical reviews, nobody's going to go read 10,000 of them. But now with Rufus and AI, they can give you a sentiment, they can give you a synopsis of what you've got going there, and you got to be careful because sometimes the information that there is not correct, right? No different than Amy was talking about your listings. You can go and do all kinds of stuff, but it's not optimized correctly. You're pushing things or pushing people and traffic to a listing that is not going to convert, right? That's really the big thing here. So how AI interrupts or interprets reviews, right? So it's not just star ratings. So, Amazon analyzes language, context, and patterns. Obviously, we're looking at review context is analyzed, right? What's actually said in the reviews. Sentiment is interpreted. So if there's tons of people that say, hey, this was returned, obviously Rufus is going to say this stuff was returned. Or if there's problems with detection of shipping, logistics, anything like that. Context and patterns are evaluated as well, and then impact on rankings and conversions. So these are all things to really kind of take a look at. I'm going to give you something here at the end of the presentation that will help you make these assessments, because sometimes as humans, to be able to go through everything and be able to take a look at that, we have a tool that you guys can use for free, which is a pretty good price last time I checked. So we have algorithm confusion, right? So we look about reviews send mixed signals. So misleading language, right? Reviews that sound positive but include negative phrases, works okay but not worth the price would be an example of that. Mixed sentiment in one review, right, where somebody talks about, maybe it's a 5-star rating, but they give it a bad review. That could be, they either could be on accident or on purpose, who knows. Logistics versus product confusion, right? Shipping or packaging issues get interpreted as product problems. Arrived damage is one that we would file on, that we would take a look at, because if you're Amazon FBA, that's not a problem with your product, that's a problem with Amazon's shipping, right? And so that does happen, right? Mistakes happen. And then inconsistent review patterns. So if you have repeat customers writing the same thing over and over and over, then that can be a situation that will be picked up by Rufus. We're also seeing people that are a little nefarious that are also going and leaving fake reviews on accounts, and they're saying certain things because they know that Rufus will pick it up. So that's another thing you got to kind of think about. Somebody attacks your brand, gives you all kinds of, as a buyer's account, and goes and attacks your brand. Guess what? Enough of those things are being said, then Rufus picks it up as knowledge and as information they need to tell the consumer, and obviously that can be a problem. So negative reviews. So some of the things we're going to take a look at this. These are some other examples. Is they can hide review signals in positive reviews, right? So that can be another black hat tactic. Comparisons or competitor comparisons, where you can say, hey, I really enjoy these, Nike shoes, but my Nike Air Max, but I really love my Adidas X17s a lot better, right? That's going to be a comparison. Logistic complaints, as we talked about, shipping something late, broken, or used. Non-product complaints, misread as a product issue. And then obviously legacy negative reviews. So I'm not sure if a lot of people know this, but I will tell you, reviews, like if you get a 1-star review today, it's going to be weighted different than your 1-star that you got 5 years ago, right? Those start to lose the weight because they have to Amazon assumes that you've improved the product over the years, right? So that won't have as much weight as the ones that come out today, but those ones still can affect, obviously, these are things that can kill your performance. Next, we're going to talk about a practical system. So what is the framework, right? How can we go in and be able to say, this is awesome, Shane, I see all this, but how do I know where the issues are? You want to make sure you're auditing your reviews, right? So it's going to be very, very important. You want to identify any patterns, anything like that. Once again, I'm going to give you guys a free tool to be able to do that. Identify, flag reviews that violate Amazon's guidelines, spot misclassified or misleading feedback. And then you want to file cases with, there's a number of different departments you can file with Amazon, send emails to Amazon. What you want to do is submit the case, leave emotion out of it, lead with facts, let them know, hey, this is your guidelines, this is how they broke the guidelines, this is confusing to consumers. Build a case there. Make sure you don't use AI to build the case, because they do not allow that. And then you want to get that review removed. And then obviously moving forward, you want to be able to monitor those reviews. And that's something that we do at TraceFuse. Not only do we go and take care of those reviews and get them filed and get everything done there and get as many reviewed as we can, but we also monitor you moving forward, which is peace of mind when it comes to, obviously Black Friday or Prime Day, anytime when a lot of sales are going to be coming in. That's a lot of the times when people can get attacked, and we're going to monitor you and be able to take a look at those reviews. And if we're not monitoring you, then great, you can do that on your side. Just make sure you are doing that to make sure if something does happen, you can be there and be prepared for that. So the big way that you're going to be able to assess, which of your reviews are having issues or the ones that might be, violating Amazon's guidelines is we have a free tool called an Amazon Review Checker. And so if you go, and I'll give you guys the link, but if you guys go to tracefuse.ai, you go to the above, it's a Amazon Review Checker, you click on that, and what will happen is a little thing will pop up. You can put in your ASIN or put in the link to your ASIN, and then what you can do is you verify your email address, and we'll actually send you a report. So this is the same proprietary software that we use internally that we've created. And what you do is you'll get a free report that'll say, hey, these are your last 5, 10, 15 reviews. These are the ones, and this is how they violate Amazon's guidelines. And then in the top right-hand corner, we actually have an ROI calculator as well, which will tell you, hey, if you want to get from a 4.7 to a 4.8, we think we're going to have to remove, or you're going to have to remove approximately 10 reviews, right? And so that will kind of give you an idea to get to the next star rating. And you can actually even put in your direct sales. You can put in your sales and what your profit margin is, and then it'll give you a more accurate number that if, how many reviews need to be removed and what your potential profit will be if you get up to that X star rating. Want to make sure you identify it. Obviously, identify which the reviews. You want to report those, monitor those, and then automate. And what we mean by automate is really just monitoring them, right? Conducting that. If you're not going to use TraceFuse or another company to do that, you want to make sure that you're looking at that on the back end to see anything that's coming through. Because this is also, the good thing about this can be constructive criticism if there's issue with those products to be able to improve those products. All right. So that guy looks, here's my stunt double. Once again, Shane Barker. If you guys want to go, tracefuse.ai. You guys can reach out to me at any time, have any questions at shane@tracefuse.ai. And then you guys can also follow me on LinkedIn. I'm not going to say I'm a big deal over there, but I was rated number 2 at a certain point for Amazon FBA. I've got a nice little following of Amazon folks over there. So once again, you guys, thank you so much for taking the time today, and I'm looking forward to hearing the other presentations.
Thank you. Thanks, Shane. Why don't you put the link in the chat and I'll send it across.
That sounds like a plan. Here it comes, my friend.
Thanks. And the next is Pasha. You go next.
Awesome. Thanks, Akash. Thanks, guys. All the presentations have been awesome. AI, right? Everyone's trying to figure it out. Everyone's building with it. It's unfolding in front of us as we speak. Literally, it's building itself, right? So it's an amazing time that we're all a part of. So a little bit about myself. I'm Pasha, founder of AMZ Optimized as the primary line of work. We're a full service agency. And right now we're building software for Amazon sellers. We've been in the Amazon game for a long time and kind of see what works, what doesn't work, and how we can help solve problems that are real problems, as real as we perceive them to be, I guess. As we go along, we get feedback from the community and from the sellers. So I'll share my screen. Let me know if you can see that all right.
Yep, we can see your screen.
Awesome. So why Amazon got harder in 2026? I mean, there's probably a couple of reasons for that, and it gets harder and harder as we open up headlines and we see that fees are increasing and whatnot. But one thing that we're focused on is back end. And so one thing that we've noticed is that Amazon stopped rewarding keyword stuffers. There was a time back in the day, if you guys were sellers back then, maybe 5-8 years ago, you would see a listing that had the same keyword repeated 40 times, and somehow Amazon thought that was a good idea to be like, yeah, these guys are really, that's the keyword that they should rank for. That really changed. So RUFUS, COSMO, the A9 all changed, and now back in fields either speak Amazon's new language or they don't really index. And what Amazon is shifting to is semantic-based search, so based on intent and not necessarily exact match. And so exact match is sort of phasing out and intent is phasing in. Amazon is extremely category aware, and every subcategory has a completely different set of fields that need to be filled. And you're really invisible when you create a listing, and nobody actually ever goes and populates that backend automatically. Like, there's no system for that right now. So if you've never been in there and selected the valid values that Amazon is recommending, then you never had that section filled out and you don't index. So kind of jumping forward to the front end as well, because that is obviously important. All of this intent-based search and algorithm does care about, we've seen these 15 questions be the primary, and this is probably a summary. There's probably a lot more than that, but if you can answer 15 questions in the front end and back end, these are probably what it would be. I'm happy to share this presentation for everybody as well. And just a handful of them would be, what function does the product perform? What event, occasion, situations are used for? Who's it meant for? What's the product capable of doing? And what's the goal it's trying to achieve? So these are very factual, logic-based questions that you have to have answered in the front end and in the back end if you want to appear with these new systems that they're rolling out. And so what we're seeing is that a lot of brand attention really goes to a hero image, A+ content, makes sense, title and bullets, like that's normal. very little attention goes to backend search terms and valid attribute fields. And the reason why is because it's boring, it's tedious, it's hard to fill out. There's a lot of SKUs in the catalog. You don't want to go in there and do every single one of them. So that is really the pain point that we've been trying to solve for. So the backend fields are how Amazon thinks about your product. They're the key to a big portion of your indexing. They are a big portion of the semantic signal that you send out. They help you to capture long tail keyword rank for terms that you can't fit into maybe your title, or they don't really do a great job putting all the variations into your bullet points or your description. And it really does have compounding effects when it comes to conversion, because if you're indexing properly and you have great conversion just visually on your listing, and you're sending good traffic with ads, then that has that compounding conversion rate effect. So nobody really tells you the valid values, or it's very difficult to find them. Sometimes they change. Sometimes Amazon doesn't give you everything in the dropdown. It's really buried in those flat files and browse tree guide nodes. So you would have to go in and manually find each single one of them. And so a lot of times people guess, or the keyword stuff, and it doesn't really work as well. So they just kind of copy stuff from other places and put synonyms in the search terms and leave out a lot of different fields. And what Amazon actually does index are the approved attribute values for your specific subcategory, of which there are probably 3,000, I think it is, something like that. And those keywords are aligned to the right field, and they want clean, compliant, not duplicated entries. And so this is what we solve for with AMZ Brain. So right now we have a V2 that's been out for the last couple months, and we're very close to releasing our V3. The V2 currently, what it does is extract the valid backend values pulled from your subcategory flat file in your account for the specific ASIN. And we match it, and then we deliver that to you with the backend fields and also the front end. So right now, the V2, the way it works is that you would just upload a couple different files. So the page is very simple. There's a video explainer. And then you would upload those files. Everything would really just come from your Amazon account, and maybe a search term report from one of your favorite, Jungle Scout or Helium 10. Everybody has those. And it would analyze it and then deliver something that would work specifically for your subcategory. And it looks, something like that. Everybody kind of seen this in the back end if you've been behind there. So we would give you a backend ready SEO file that has all the optimized search terms, autofilled valid values, and basically you can just go and plug it right in. And we've built this through an engine and a system, not just, this is not just ChatGPT with a prompt. So in that way, it is subcategory aware, it's field matched and compliant. So we're really trying to stay, the compliant part is very important. We don't want to give you any suggestions that can get anything flagged. And so this is a sneak preview of what the V3 looks like. I'm personally very excited about this because we've spent months with the team of engineers working on this. And so now we're going to have the ability to just authorize directly with the Amazon API. You plug in your ASIN, some additional context if you have it, and then it would automatically just populate everything. So you can see here as an example, there's nothing there, and then here's the what we're suggesting, and this would be basically an upload button. It would just shoot it directly into your listing. So that just makes the whole process automated, very easy, and then you're the one who actually hits the upload button. So you make sure that what you're uploading is exactly what you know about the listing. So if there are any hallucinations or anything, we've tried and are trying our best to remove that, but that's AI, right? So yeah, that's it. This was a short presentation relatively. I don't know how long I've been talking, but this is a QR code for amzbrain.ai. You can just go to amzbrain.ai. And as I mentioned, V3 is just about to launch. We are probably a month away or so. So if you sign up for the V2, you feel free to play around with that, and it'll give you some good results, but the real good results will be in V3, and we're launching it for free for anybody who is on the V2 sign up list. So we have a list right now, 1,500 people so far that have used the tool. So get in there while you can, because V3 won't be free forever, just in the beginning. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thanks, Pasha. I would encourage everyone in the audience to try it as long as it's free, right? Because as he said, like V3 will not be free. So
Thanks, Akash.
Perfect. So next is Dmytro. You're up.
Hey guys, great presentations. Excited to be here. So a little bit about me. I'm an ex-Amazon seller, and right now I help other Amazon 7 and 8-figure brands manage their advertising profitably. And today I'm actually not gonna really talk about AI. I'm gonna talk about traditional organic ranking, but I will give some AI-related tips at the end. So let me share my screen. Okay. Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Great. Yeah, so organic keyword ranking with PPC. So first of all, our goal is to find keywords where we can rank in top 6 organic rank position. For this, we're gonna use brand analytics, search query performance, and a lot of sellers treat all keywords as the same. They just try to cover all relevant keywords with advertising, but the keywords behave different, so there is a more effective way to go about it. Now, in your Seller Central, you want to go to Brand Analytics, search query performance, choose ASIN view, choose your product. I would go for best-selling variation you have, then choose a reporting range, a week or a month should be good. And you will get very powerful data. So over here, you will have a list of keywords that are happening in your niche for the specific products you chose. And on the keyword level, you will have data like impressions, clicks, cart ads, and purchases. So this is actually like a funnel starting with impressions all the way to the purchase. So by combining some of this data, you can see how competitive you are for these keywords in your niche. Like for example, you can divide clicks against purchases, and you will get the conversion rate both for your market and for your own product. And for this, we need significant amount of data. So I would ignore any keywords that might have only 2 purchases. I would go for more than 3 or 4. If you have low volume of data, I would go from weekly to monthly, so we can make decisions based on enough data. So like I mentioned, you can calculate the conversion rate. So you will have columns in the report for total purchases and total clicks. So dividing that will give you market CVR, meaning like how your competition is converting for the terms from that report. And you can take brand purchases and brand clicks, divide it, and this will give your product's conversion rate for those keywords. Now, Amazon will just give you a raw report. So in order to aggregate this data, you need to do some manipulations or use some third-party software like Data Dive has SQP integrated, I think Scale Insights. But if you're not using any of such tools, I built one. You just need to upload your SQP report to the tool, and it will give you this breakdown. So you can access it through this QR code, and I will drop the link in the comments later. So once you get this data, specifically the conversion rate for the keywords, usually you will have 2 scenarios. First one is your conversion rate will be lower than the market. In such case, you won't be able to rank on top positions for these keywords, and you may end up with wasted spend on them. So in this scenario, go and improve your offer, your product page, so you can work on many aspects that will help to improve the conversion rate, like pricing, reviews, getting a badge, getting a coupon, split testing images, or running deals. Deals can actually be very powerful for boosting CVR and organic ranks, but they can be more short term because deals have a time frame. And you will have a scenario where you have keywords that you are converting on higher than the market. So for these keywords, you can rank, but if you are on par in terms of conversion rate, most likely you will be able to rank in top 10, but not top positions, because something to keep in mind is when you get this conversion rate data for your market, it's actually the products who have top organic rank positions, they convert a little bit higher because this is niche average. So this is everyone. When you think about top sellers, they will be a little bit higher. So that's why if you have the same conversion rate as the market, I would still go and try to improve your conversion rate, your listing before trying to rank on that keyword. But in areas where your conversion rate is better by 1 to 2% or more than 2%, you will more likely rank at top 6 or top 3 organically. So these keywords are rankable and you can push ads for them. Now, another important aspect to understand is keyword groups or clusters. So similar keywords behave the same in terms of conversion rate and ranking. So I like to group keywords by the root phrase. So here is an example of milk frother, very popular product. And that's the seed keyword, the main keyword, but then you have lots of different keywords associated with it. So for example, here we have a couple keywords with chargeable. So chargeable, it's basically like a root, milk frother chargeable. That's a root word, or best milk frother. So best milk frother is another root. So I would treat such clusters as a mini niche inside our main niche because they will have different conversion rates. They can have different search volumes. So for me, it's important to track those and see where I can be competitive. So here's an example from Data Dive. I like that they can help organize these routes, see the frequency of how many repeated phrases there are and what's their search volume. So an example of routes and optimization. Here's milk frother matcha search term, and this is #1 organically ranked product for it. So notice the image, it's completely optimized for matcha. And I think it's completely identical product as the regular milk frother. But what is happening here, this seller, instead of going and fighting for the broad milk frother keyword, which is super competitive because you have Zule over there, so they chose the specific route of matcha and concentrated on it. So they fixed their listing to be matcha, and they're dominating on this route. So that's a good example of why you should keep an eye on the routes, because maybe somewhere you can't be competitive, but you can take advantage on another route. So then once you gathered your keywords, gathered your routes, I would create campaigns for the ranking. Now, many keywords you already may have in your advertising. In that case, I would just review the PPC structure itself. And the way I would set it up is use single keyword campaigns in exact match for all those terms we are going to rank on, give them competitive bid and aim for top of search. And then I would take all the routes I discovered and set up phrase or broad campaigns, one campaign per route. I use the keywords from exact as negative exact in these campaigns, and also give it a competitive bid and aim for top of search. And I would set it up with one ASIN per campaign, one ad group, and one keyword. So because we know that these keywords already have high CVR for us, we just need to make sure we are maximizing it and maximizing the traffic, because that's what's going to allow us to rank. So for conversion rate levers, we will have bidding and placements. That's where we need to make sure we have optimal conversion rate. And then we want to maximize the traffic. So we have a metric such as top of search impression share in Campaign Manager, and it basically shows us how often we show up in ads for this specific campaign. So for our ranking keywords, we want to maximize this, and it's not going to be 100%, but I would aim from 50 to 60% on such campaigns and monitor the organic rank trends after we launch the PPC. And the last part is understanding organic rank trends. So Amazon has an algorithm, A9. It looks at huge amount of data and determines the performance and the search results on Amazon. So from what I saw, honeymoon or stock outs are not really that critical, because if you improve your conversion rate and send the data to Amazon long enough, you can still get ranked no matter what. Also, rank responses usually in 2 to 3 days. So if you start pushing a keyword, it's not going to be immediately, it will take some time. And there are a few popular tools for organic rank tracking. I'm going to give some examples using Ace Insight because it allows to view organic ranks for any product without needing to track it previously. So here is an example of ads plus high conversion rate keyword. This was from a product launch back in late December, early January. Here we launched the product. The red line shows we started the ads. I don't know why it's not showing it here, but yeah, we started with around 30 organic rank position and then immediately jumped up. And then it took us some time and we reached the top organic rank positions. So this is a product launch, high conversion rate. We were able to quickly get the top organic rank positions. Here's an example with returning from out of stock. So the product was out of stock for a while. Here in late March, it goes back in stock and we slowly start climbing up. Then there is this plateau, and currently still working on this keyword, but it's possible to return its previous organic rank. It just might need some time, and again, depending on the conversion rate for that keyword. And here's an example where we are actually dominating with advertising on a keyword, but we are not ranking at the top on it. So here, the organic rank fluctuates between position 4, 5, 3, and it doesn't really break through position 3, even though it seems like we're maximizing advertising. So the conversion rate is lacking, and no amount of really spend on that keyword is gonna make it rank. We're probably just losing money on it. So in this case, we need to try and improve the conversion rate on that keyword, and meanwhile, probably try to be profitable with advertising on it. And another thing to understand, rank has fluctuations. So here's an example of how it kind of jumps from position 2, 3, sometimes to 1. And then here it stabilizes. So sometimes maybe you are very close with other competitors in terms of conversion rate. So algorithm is testing you. It's not sure which position to put you into. But then something interesting happens here. This orange mark is Amazon Choice Badge. So the product got a badge somehow, and it definitely boosted the CVR. And then you can see the conversion rate starts to be way more stable with top positions. So going back to my slide here, it's whether improve the offer, improve your conversion rate, or if it's already better, you go ahead and rank on that keyword. So that's about it. Hope it was helpful. Yeah, if anyone has any questions or need help with the ads, You can look up my name on LinkedIn, Facebook. My agency name is SalesByte, or directly contact me by email. We'll be happy to chat about advertising, about organic ranking. Thank you.
Uh, Thank you. Thanks, uh, right, for that very insightful presentation. Next, we have one second. I think next one is who's next? Tempest.
Hmm.
So yeah, you are next.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Good morning, afternoon, or wherever you are in the world, night maybe. I'm Tempest Godwin. I'm the lead marketing at Seller Labs. A little bit of my background is that I managed an Amazon account for about 10 years. Revenue was about $7 to $10 million a year. And as I'm sure everybody in this call has experienced, is that with Amazon, you have to pivot, and you have to pivot quickly. And they're constantly going to change things on you, the rules on you, and the fees on you, and the reports. So I've personally been in the trenches of manually downloading reports into spreadsheets and going through all of it. At one point, I managed a team of like 12 people just trying to manage reports, make sure things were profitable, just chasing Amazon up, down, left, and right. And the company that I had worked for previously, we had our own custom software. Now I've moved to Seller Labs. And as you know, everybody's talking about, AI is changing everything. It's changing the way people shop. It's changing how Amazon works completely. I actually read a report this morning that Amazon is putting $25 billion into the company that owns Claude. They already put in $5 billion, and they're putting in another $20 million over the next couple of years. So we're really moving. To move on a little bit from that, how does this, affect us as agencies, sellers, or software developers? Is that just like with Amazon, we really got to keep up, and you got to change. And if you don't, Amazon's going to leave you in the dust, or your clients are going to find themselves with fees that they can't quite understand, or, is a surprise. So at Seller Labs, we've been developing our MCP. And I want to get a little bit into that. And I also want to make sure that I give the links for our free resources. So all the AI that we're talking about today, we do have a free course that kind of puts it into more like, if you've never had any experience with software developing or anything like that, you don't have to. It's just a guide of how you can go through the AI and the MCPs without having to ask it question after question after question, and really make it work for you so that you're saving your time and energy, labor time, if you have a staff. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, can you see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay. All right, how about now?
Yes.
Awesome. So Seller Labs, we have our MPC server, and it is the bridge between Amazon data and AI power, and it really gets you away from juggling the reports, the spreadsheets, and it connects you to Amazon data with the tools so they can actually think with it, get your answer, trends, make better decisions. You want to really analyze and not just ask. Like, you're getting questions like, which license lost the buy box last week, and you're wondering, how can I set this up to automate it, right? So you want to work smarter, not harder, and let AI handle like the number crunches so you can focus on other things. And if you're an Amazon seller and not an agency, you want to be able to continue with, your product development, your creativity, your reviews, things of that nature. And at Seller Labs, we're working really hard to bring that all together, as we all are in this meeting, to bring, us and our clients, or you as a seller, into the future of AI together. So you can ask it things, like what SKUs dropped in profit, which keywords are driving the most conversions this much, how did my ad spend impact margins across top ASINs? And AI can do all that for you, give you an answer, but really ask it to get into the nitty gritty without, like I said, having to ask it over and over and over. Now, that being said, at Seller Labs, we do have a free trial, which no credit card required. And you really want to stop using AI kind of like a search engine. And in this course, it's moving you from like an AI as a chatbot to an AI as an automated system. An example of this, we've done, inventory audits, advertising audits. One of our sellers, what they were able to find within the MCP and asking it the right questions was they were asking a lot of questions about their shipping rates and should it be free and what the competition is doing. And instead of having to go through a bunch of reports, what they were able to do was make a decision on their shipping within the information they were provided by the MCP, but also compare that to big box competition, not just Amazon. So they're looking at Target, Best Buy, Walmart. And what they were able to do with that is save about $200,000 a year just by changing their shipping rate a little bit, which was absolutely huge for them. So we think of it as 5 levels of AI automation, and most Amazon sellers are stuck at level 1. And this is, like I said, a free course, can take you to the different levels. So, your level 1 is the chatbot. You ask, it answers. 1 question, 1 reply, no memory. It's like ChatGPT. Then you have your level 2 with this assistance with tools. So the AI can use tools, read files, run code, look up data. Still responds to you directly, but now it can, do things for you, not just question and answer. Then you get into something like a single agent, where your AI is going to get goals and figure out steps on its own, research, write summaries. It's going to plan, act without you having to babysit the AI all of the time. With the multiple agent pipelines, it works like in a sequence, and they're all handing each other a tiny piece of a larger task, like a relay race. It's going to fetch data, other analyzes, other formats, and sends. And this is kind of an example of how one of our sellers was able to figure out how to save $200,000 a year just by changing their shipping rates, which is amazing. Then you get into the more automated, which is later on. They can work in parallel, coordinate, self-correct without a lot of human input. It starts running like entire workflows on its own. From there, you can send it to yourself, whether it be in Slack or a sheet or however you want it, so that you're not constantly going back into Claude or what have you, and it can feed you that information directly without going back and forth to some kind of dashboard. Another example of this would be if you are, working on your advertising. Something like the MCP is going to pick up the changes in your Amazon or Amazon PPC or your basically your inventory costs. Those of you that have been to Amazon for a while, whenever they change like standard size, this size, or a lot of people that do FBA will find that something gets measured incorrectly one time. And a lot of the time, stuff like that gets missed until you find a report at the end of the month. And this really speeds up that process of, hey, here's an alert. They changed the sizing on this. And now instead of it costing you, $9, now it's $9.50. And it's finding that information way faster. So on top of that, something else that we can do that goes hand in hand with the AI automation course is we can give you Amazon an advertising audit, so that you're looking closer at your ad spend, having ads running out of stock products, 0 sales, or your way cost is way above even, and you just don't find that. But again, with the MCP, it's finding it a lot faster, and then you get a Claude Code prompt template that's going to run a 13-section advertising audit against your Seller Labs data. It covers your out of stock campaigns, your keyword waste, your ACOS health, the tacos trend, placement gaps, search term analysis, and without having to dig all of that manually. And like I said, without the inventory audit as well, your excess inventory is going to drain cash. Or like I said before, if you get a sizing change because somebody at Amazon decided to measure something weird and all of that is going to come to you immediately and feed it directly to you. So with these things, this has completely changed everything about Amazon, and really about everything, within the e-marketplace in general. But everything all together, Amazon that we were looking at 10 years ago is so different than Amazon now. And with AI, it's not even just that it's there. It's if you don't work with it and get ahead of it, then it's going to work against you, because everybody else that is a competitor or your clients, they're going to find themselves behind instead of ahead, like we were talking about with the relay race. So again, I think that's how AI is very much changing everything on Amazon with RUFUS and everything else. And from there, it's be ahead or, get left behind. I would love to do, if anybody wants to contact me and have a demo of anything, or just has questions and wants to, talk about AI in general, I'll drop my link for my calendar if anybody would like to schedule a meeting. And I'll also be dropping the links of the AI automation courses. We also have videos that will walk people through exactly, basically client examples of what they were able to find when they started at a level 1 AI and then moved to like a level 4 AI level to really make it work with them.
Thank you, Tempest. I'll definitely go and check out your course after this webinar. It really looks very interesting.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So next is Mark. Mark, you're up.
Hey everyone, and hope everyone is still here with the great energy. And it's late evening in Europe, so I won't be speaking a lot about complicated things because there's so many exciting things happening with AI. I will be very straightforward with what you will get with this presentation of mine. 10 minutes. I will speak about EU, entering EU. A lot of see people from US, sellers from US. You will get compliance checklist. You will understand how to think, and not only just to optimize, but how to be ready mentally for entering European markets. And also a little bit I will touch about keywords, about optimization, but here I see so many smart guys are presenting different things. So I want to say for the sellers, whom there definitely might be sellers who don't know so much about MCPs, about even like prompting is still not not perfect. But I just want to say that in this era of AI, when everyone is trying to build different tools, the cost for software is going down. I think that we as Amazon sellers or agencies or anyone who has a physical product definitely win. And we as an agency, we also see that entering new markets, it's really exciting from the perspective that you have different interest from these markets. Amazon is just a platform sometimes, very often, to get a B2B retailers or other interesting customers or exposure, and not just to sell, but to generate brand awareness for our sellers, for the brands that we manage on Amazon. So yeah, I will start. My name is Mark, running Amazon agency INNELS. A little presentation here that I will share right now, and start to say that for the last 7 years, we are going to be 8 years in October. We are actually managed maybe like more than 100 brands on a full service. Means that not only listings, it's a very in-depth logistics evaluation and forecast, and working with warehouses of our clients and warehousing team. And it's actually super cool to hear about Seller Labs and this report, because we try to automate our forecasting and the inventory management with AI. It's still a lot of different tools and a lot of different ways to do it. We try to be the best for our clients. And of course, we do design. Of course, we do VAT. It's very important in Europe. All the regulations we also handle in-house, all the management, and then, of course, using different third-party tools that some of you also provide here. So I will speak and start. I hope you can see my presentation. Feel free to let me know if not. And I will say that Europe and the European markets, it's very interesting from the perspective that you can find different gaps. US is overpopulated with competition, right? You have such a huge cost per click at the moment that it's interesting to look at Europe. We saw, like, of course, small clients and small companies are coming to us and saying, like, we are not ready to pay such a big amount to get a good return on investment, to have good break, like, to be break even in 2-3 years maybe. And then we are looking and talking to them about different markets. For example, I want to say Amazon Italy, and this is something that one of the example just last year, one liver supplement company came to us, expensive, 65 euros per like 30 and like 60 day supplements. And we saw this gap. Italians, they don't have so big competition in terms of different supplements, but they really love to take supplements. And I mean, this is the nation that loves to eat and smoke and also to take supplements in a good way. I'm also like just been living in Italy, so in a good way that I see, and that's all my Italian friends are saying, and we see also this success there. So just one thing about Italy or France, for example. Italy has growing demand, right? And then France offers similar demand characteristic with less competition. So why not enter, get some traction there, and then fund expansion to other big European markets like Germany and UK? Your reviews are synchronized, great. You understood a little bit how VAT works if you're not European company, not European seller, and you understand all the regulations. You see how Amazon is constantly asking you for different documents, and you're really like professional at this one. We also see that in Europe, Amazon might be much more picky when it comes to documents, which we don't like, even though we see a lot of US sellers, they come and have interest expanding through Europe. Then we also warn them about this. But this is interesting, and I just want to say that try to look at this market sometimes first if you don't want to test big, especially in the competitive niches. Then I think interesting to speak about Claude, and everyone is speaking about, of course, prompts, about evaluation, and I just want to say that my presentation will be based on 3 essential Claude skills for EU expansion. I would say skills is the most important nowadays. Like not the most important nowadays for everyone, but for our agency, we identified so because we see that prompts, they might lead to a little bit wrong direction, maybe sometimes hallucinating. But skills, when you have skill in Claude, they have a really clear path and just exactly follow from A to Z every little step on how to get an answer. And I will also show for some of you later and provide one of the skills that you can upload already right now to Claude, so no strings attached. 3 different ones, we just called it like this: localize, it's about content; search map, it's about keywords; checker, it's about EU regulations. First, translations and localization of the content. Very important to say that once you do translation with, I think everyone already now does translation with AI. I believe so. Maybe someone does proofreading with human, and of course it's a good way to do. We still do proofreading. I just want to say that very important to focus on psychology. So localization captures not only the keywords that others are using, but how different countries and different listings speak by itself. So what I mean here is sometimes very interesting for us to feed AI with different listings, let's say in France, and ask Claude, what do you think about this? Do you think there are any patterns or like ways how these listings are communicated? And of course, we bring to AI like big French companies where we know that it's a perfect listing, and then we see some different patterns that we share, and then we say, okay, it's interesting. For example, here, next slide, you can see that Germany more emphasizes on specifications. Sometimes important to say that there is an ISO certificate. Of course, you also know sometimes from reviews that Germans are a little bit more complaining a bit more about different things. France focuses on lifestyle, brand story, and of course, it all can be communicated through your infographics, bringing more lifestyle images as well, not just to have the same images translated to all the markets. Italy values design, emotion, social context. Spain prioritize value, price to quality, practical benefits. Want to be honest that Spain maybe it's least successful country for us, testing different niches, different products categories. Maybe just us, and of course specifications and like our clients of the brands we manage. And then there are Netherlands and of course Sweden, and of course interesting to look into these markets as well. For example, in Poland, I just received this news that last week I've been speaking about this, that they invest right now 5 billion in Polish warehouse infrastructure, and not only warehouse, just in general marketplace and other aspects. So inside this this skill that we build, and just I want to inspire you to build also the skill to localize not just content, not just to translate, but to understand each country and their cultural behaviors, feed them a little bit more of a context of successful sellers, and understand buyer psychology and how you can build skills. Just I'm not a technical person, but that's how it works for us, and maybe for different sellers also. Like just try to ask Claude your like challenge you and ask questions. What should be included? And then, of course, feed the context and then ask to write this skill and upload it. And yeah, as I mentioned here, competitor URLs, and interesting to see the outcome for different countries. And that's how you can definitely win. You don't, maybe it's hard to test. You sometimes don't see and cannot really directly A/B test it, but definitely good thing to have it early on. And you can still see, of course, difference in conversions before and after you optimize the listing, right? But sometimes you cannot really even see these changes because you're not a native speaker, but natives can. So just want to say that inside search map, it's already different thing. Let's switch to the second skill I will be talking about. It's keywords. A lot of interesting talk about PPC and keywords already here about listings. And in this webinar, I just want to say that if you start thinking in English and start to translate keywords and maybe do reverse ASIN lookup and look for your competitors, it's still not so great when you're actually starting with the context that you built Claude from the previous skill, when you actually gave Claude this context of international sell of your competitors, of their URLs, and this context asking them to provide the this cultural narrative. So some sellers, they might use, of course, different jargons as well right now in the listings, or in different niche keywords that might help you as well. So with this skill, with search map that you can also build in 2 hours, you can actually efficiently understand keyword gap for all the different marketplaces for the same product in Europe, right? And basically, yeah, upload reports, try to gather SQP, search query performance from all relevant marketplaces and your SKUs, run it in Claude, feed output, of course, very important, as was communicated here, integrate into the listings your findings, not just campaigns, and monitor performance. So here important that yeah, as I mentioned, keyword searched also in English often neglects 40-60% of potential search volume. But third is the most important, and I still have maybe like 3-4 minutes to speak, is compliance. And to the first page of this slide, I brought some information about GPCR, and I want to say that it's a new thing, like not really new. It was introduced in 2024 in December, but more and more sellers are actually disturbed by Amazon asking to provide documents. And very important to check it as well. So besides this, there are 5 EU compliance layers: GPCR, EPR, CU, and you can see here different comments as well on my slides here. Here, for example, for the first, you need to have a responsible person, and it's not possible to provide a foreign company for such. Here, EPR regulations, for example, lucid number, register per country or per category. They're different in different countries. Sometimes you don't need it to have it all, right? And I will talk about this later, what exactly you need to have. Here, for electronic, for toys, you need to have CE documents. There are category rules as well, for example, for cosmetics, CPNP, and country labeling, of course, and Claude can help you with this. We called our skill called checker. And besides calling it just checker, I've been just also inspired to provide a bit more interesting dashboard for our team members, for our employees, and to say that you can check in this dashboard, in this front end, like beautiful dashboard that you can check like your clients you manage, you can input different information about their category, their products, and maybe I will share it as well right now and say that it gives output and says which exactly documents you need to have. It's not live yet. I just decided that let's do it live for everyone and share it, and I will maybe post it on LinkedIn tomorrow. So my developer couldn't deploy it right now, but connect with me on LinkedIn. I will definitely post it tomorrow and just everyone can check it with a beautiful interface. If you want to check it right now, let me just share a file, close skill that you can upload right now and check against all these regulations as well. And if you want to connect, yes, I mentioned this one as well. Let me bring down the presentation, maybe share my screen and say that it might be interesting for everyone who is a seller entering in European marketplaces to have something like this. Yeah, you can see my screen right now. First of all, very easy for those who don't know, probably most of the speakers know it, but just want to say you can have projects in Claude where you can have instructions, or you can actually put this file that I will share in the chat right now here, and it will give you also instructions based on this. But as I see, skills are a little bit more like, again, straightforward. And in order to upload skills, you have customized section here in Claude, you add here skills, and you create new skill and upload the file or write skill instructions. So the file that I will be sharing, it's here. And again, if you want to use this interface that we have, it will be able to, you will be just choosing category, country, you paste your URL, search, like say where your country, like what is your country of manufacture, for example. Let's do it quickly. Find one US seller of toys and say that it's toys, and say we want to enter Germany, France, and say that company location is US, but manufacturer in China. Yes, there are electronics. There is it made of, let's say, plastic. I don't have a responsible person in Europe, and it doesn't go anywhere yet, but I will say that you get the same report in your email, so you will have it externally as well. And there are different flags and different risks that you have per market. And of course, the first one is always responsible person if you're not a European seller, and all different comments. So feel free to use it. Again, it will be posted on my LinkedIn. Otherwise, I will be sharing just file here. If you're and if you know Claude, then use it right now. And thanks a lot for for having me, for all other presentations. Very exciting to hear other sellers speaking about AI.
Thanks, Mark. I think this is really great use of a Claude skills. I have not seen this before, but it's like very cool way of using skills. So we only have like two speakers left. So next one is Klaidas, and then last but not the least, Sean.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Akash. All right, awesome. So my name is Klaidas. I'm the founder of AMZBs. We are a full-service Amazon account management agency. Now, what I will talk about has been slightly briefly mentioned by Amy, has been slightly briefly mentioned by Pasha from different areas and different sides. But what I want to share is specifically about COSMO. And this 15 semantic relations and the 15 semantic labels. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. And let me do. All right, let's see. I got to increase. There we go. All right, awesome. You can see my screen, right? Yes, perfect. All right, so we have a tool, right, that essentially compares our listing and analyzes our listing specifically for COSMO. Now, as you know, RUFUS takes a lot of the data and a lot of the research is done by actual COSMO. Like COSMO is the brain of RUFUS. And at the same time, what we want to have in our listing is what essentially, Amy shared, right? You ask different questions specifically to RUFUS to get various answers and build up a lot of that data. Or you can also analyze the listing based on the exact semantic labels that Amazon published in their actual white papers, in their research for COSMO, in the actual science papers that they have. And what we essentially can get and can look at is something like this. So we input the listing. There's a lot of background things that Claude is doing here to get the full document with every single thing that Amazon COSMO is looking at your product and the actual suggestions based identically on the Amazon's algorithm. For example, here we have all of the 15 relations, right? There are semantic labels, but essentially, what does this product do? What activities can I use this for? Is this made for someone like me? Etc., etc., etc. Now, they're all slightly different. They all have their own unique nuances. But the important part is we have to answer each one of those in both text and visuals. So, for example, where we see that, for example, right, we have partially shown for this semantic label in the text, right? We have the partial information in text. In the visuals, we only show it, but we don't reinforce it. We don't specify it. So if we want to update and optimize our listing specifically for COSMO, not just for AI, right? You don't want to essentially try to guess. You want to take the Amazon's research and optimize specifically based on that. What I've taken here, for example, we have one of the more popular Castile soap, Dr. Bronner's. They have fine listings. It's definitely nothing spectacular. It probably converts well because they are ranking quite highly. They have some solid information here, but we want to understand how COSMO actually looks at their listing. And COSMO itself, it doesn't look at images. We're guessing that Amazon's AWS, they have their own tool there that transcribes the images or translates the images into text. So essentially, another AI is looking at the image, right, and transcribing everything that is visible in that image from the text, from the actions, from the things that are happening in that image. And then COSMO reads all of that text because COSMO is basically text-based LLM. It doesn't see the images, but what you show and what you write in those images is being visible. So what we have here isn't a representation of the quality of the actual images. It's not a representation of the specific conversion or how to increase that conversion, because essentially, right, a human eye or a different type of AI could do that. But what we have here specifically, the information that you're showcasing, that RUFUS needs, that COSMO needs, and in most cases, right, actual humans need to be aware of and your customers actually want to see. Before, right, we were optimizing for A9, we were optimizing for the algorithm. Now we're optimizing for AI, which is geared towards the customer. So we're basically back to optimizing for the customer. So when we pull up all the information, right, to the ZeroBox tool, we see some strengths. We can skip that right here, but we essentially want to look at the key gaps for specific relations. For example, for the relation 14, right, this is the key gap. The listing never addresses who the customer is as a person, which is a very important action, right? And there's a recommendation, right? You read ingredient labels, you believe what touches your skin should be as clean as what you eat. Dr. Bronner's is made for people like you, right? And the relation 14 is this product for me? Is this product for people like me? We have, right, quick wins. what the images show, the text has to reflect. So for example, we have the third listing image shows a woman with soap on face, hands, arms demonstrating body part interaction and shower activity. We want to connect that into the written part of the copy, right? So we want to have essentially the images speak the same exact story as your listing copy does. Right, and the recommendation here is to essentially add similar sentence to your bullet points, right? And we have a couple more. Then we have the prioritized suggestions. For the number one, as the most important suggestion, what part of my body does this interact with? We have the question that RUFUS people on RUFUS could be asking, and then we have the suggestion what to actually do. Right. If we go deeper, for example, what does this product do? It's strong, it's reinforced. Every single attribute and aspect is fully covered for the first relation, which is the easiest one to realistically do, and it's basically about the product. It's the features of the product, right? We want to showcase no longer just the features. We want to actually talk about the customer. We want to understand our target audience, and that has to be shown, has to be mentioned, has to be specific, has to be typical, reinforced with clear benefits. So essentially, right, what you have here is basically an analysis tool that not your copywriter, your graphic designer that's working on your listings have to run your listings through and make those adjustments based on what Amazon COSMO wants to see. Whether you do this through RUFUS, whether you do this through Zervox, whether you literally look at those individual relations and try to make sure that you're answering that question somewhere in your listing and reinforcing that in your visuals, then you will see most likely you will see a drastic change in the RUFUS searches. You will most likely see a significant increase in the organic rankings for the customers that you're mainly targeting for. What we recently saw for one of the brands that we literally updated the entire listing content, the visuals, the copywriting, that was in the middle of February, I believe. In March, our profitability, our profit was 90-something% higher than last year with only 10% more with only $10,000 more in ad spend. We got 100% more in profitability because our conversion just skyrocketed. But the conversion skyrocketed mainly because we fully answered all of those relations, which speak directly to the target consumer, because Amazon's COSMO is built around the consumers, right? This is what Amazon wants. And sometimes when we take one of the relations, right, and our listing has it fully shown, fully reinforced, it's fully covered, and there's a customer who fits that particular archetype that we have in our listing. Amazon has so much data. It's the big data, from Amazon Kindle, from Prime Video, from their shopping history, from what the customer is actually clicking, doing, and buying, and what they prefer. And if you are showcasing that type of customer in your visuals, in your text, COSMO sees that and understands that. And then they're more likely to show your product instead of competitors for that specific consumer. So, for example, a very simple example could be, if this is for the relation to what type of product this is, right? So if you're selling blue socks, for example, if there is a customer on Amazon that generally just likes color blue more than anything else, and they're looking to buy socks, they're typing in socks for something, whatever, but they never mention the color. COSMO knows that particular customer prefers blue socks. So at the same time, what is happening is that your listing will be shown higher than others, specifically because that customer prefers blue. And they will tend to see more. Oh, we got my timer. and they will tend to see more blue-colored products, right? There's a lot more in the document that you should look at, but essentially the end goal is that your listing fully answers all 15 relations. It fully reinforces those relations and those specific customer archetypes in your visuals. And if you make those changes, whether you make those changes with AI, whether you make those changes with a creative agency that you work with, trust me, the end result is going to be spectacular, because this is the actual blueprint that you want to use to well, speak to AI, to speak to Rufus, to speak to Cosmo and the Amazon algorithm as a whole. Now, you still shouldn't forget the A9, right? The keywords still matter, no longer not keyword stuffing, but the the exact matches, the broad matches, the advertising, the search-based algorithm is still there. But now you have to be a lot more focused on your target audience, on your customer, and on actually being specific. Also, another very, very important point with Cosmo is if you are contradicting yourself anywhere in the listing, for example, in the example I was looking at resistance bands, they literally have their they show resistance bands that they have 5 resistance bands with different strength types. But in the infographics, they show different strength types for the same resistance bands than in their A+ content. And guess like Cosmo sees those things, and it's a direct contradiction, so it just ignores both of it, right? If you mention color like that, your product is blue, but then in another bullet point or in your visuals you mention that your product is fully green, that's a direct contradiction, and no color is going to be taken into account. So it's directly harming you to be contradictory with your listings. So you absolutely should have that in mind. All right, I'm gonna pass the mic to, I believe, Sean, right? That's okay. Perfect. Awesome. Thank you
Great.
for the time.
What's up, everyone? We've only got about 5 minutes left. I will try to fit this in within those 5 minutes. So, what's up? My name's Sean. I'm going to talk about something a little bit different than everyone else. We're going to talk about how to use AI to escape the Amazon trap. So, I'm the founder of a company called Spillover Commerce, and we are an Amazon and Facebook ads agency, or meta ads agency. And the whole idea is, look, you might feel like you're in an Amazon trap right now, and it's because you are. Amazon keeps getting harder because they know that they can squeeze people. And one of the best ways to get out of that squeeze is to have some optionality. Now, a lot of the stuff you're seeing on the screen is probably stuff you already know, so we're going to gloss over it. Amazon owns your customer, not you. Your margins are getting crushed. I mean, I don't need to get into it right now. And one algorithm owns you. So if anyone is in that position, and we'll gloss over this slide, but just know we know what the problems are. Okay, so what's the escape plan then? Basically, you need to have a high-performing Amazon business in order for this to work. Like, you can't just take a failing Amazon business and throw something like a profitable Shopify channel on top of it and expect it to work. But it almost always helps, even on Shopify accounts on Amazon accounts that are not doing that well. But on a high-performing Amazon account, it crushes. And the other thing that's important to mention is your top competitors are already doing this. I talk to, we get a lot of inbound messages, and one of the things that I always do is I go and take a look at their main competitors. One of the first things we always notice, I mean, like always notice, is that at least one of their competitors have a really big external traffic advantage compared to them. And so that's the big reason why we are always talking about spending once and profiting twice. You can spend money on meta ads and have a huge spillover effect from your Shopify store onto Amazon. So how does AI come into this picture? Well, pretty much in every aspect, because everyone on this call probably understands e-commerce, but maybe doesn't speak Shopify perfectly and maybe doesn't speak meta ads perfectly. But you can very easily use AI to level up your lack of skills in those domains. So the first thing is you can use AI to find who already has meta market fit. Honestly, sometimes what I'll end up doing is I will put my top competitor's ASIN into Claude Cowork and just say, find what this ASIN's doing or what this company is doing. And that was how I was able to show one company that we work with, like, look, your main competitor, what they're doing to beat you is they're spending money on Facebook traffic. And, just being able to get that, like, that kind of objective third-party analysis is really helpful. Then you can use tools to analyze their winning ads. The same way that we analyze competitor listings on Amazon, you can do the exact same thing on meta ads. And so that's, there's a tool called Foreplay we're going to talk about. We don't have any affiliation with this tool. I just wanted to give some people something concrete to use. So you can use a tool called foreplay.co. I know, kind of a dirty sounding name, but you can use that to analyze competitive creatives. Then the next thing is with Foreplay, you can see where they're sending all their traffic. So what's a little bit different compared to like selling on Shopify compared to selling on Amazon is you build dedicated landing pages you send cold traffic to. And they usually are not your product detail pages. And so what you need to do is reverse engineer their funnel. And the easiest way to do that is to use something like AI to figure out what the key elements are and how they break that down. And then finally, you kind of put all of your plans together, throw that back into AI and tell it to roast your ideas. Because really that's how I would use AI to figure out, okay, great. How do I use all of this to launch with confidence and not be afraid I'm about to waste thousands of dollars on advertising? So the tool we're talking about, foreplay.co, it allows you to one-click save an ad that you find out in the wild. So whether you're actually going out and looking at your competitors' ads, or if you're kind of going out and you just happen to see something while you're on the internet, you can just click on the ad, save it to this tool, and then analyze it later and kind of do AI analysis, build a swipe file, and find trends that are working now, not later. I don't have an affiliate link. Just go to foreplay.co. I'm specifically talking about this because it's a tool our agency uses, and I think you guys would benefit from it. So foreplay.co. And so the final thing I wanted to say is, if your brand is interested in kind of getting out of this Amazon trap, we built a quiz that you can take. It's spillover.stonesgoods.com. That's the URL. Or you can scan this QR code. And we would be happy to kind of you don't need to get on a call with me or anything. You go through this quiz. It's the same 15 questions I'd ask you on a first call. And we kind of just tell you, or we give you a score on 3 different dimensions and tell you how likely you are to succeed if you start getting off of Amazon. So that's what the quiz is. So yeah, spillover.stonesgoods.com is the quiz. Take this QR code, drop me a message on LinkedIn if you want to chat about this. But I want to provide a bunch of value and next steps that don't involve talking to another human. So yeah, check out our quiz, check out foreplay.co. Don't ever talk to me again, or do. I'm very friendly, but I just wanted to kind of share some useful insights. I hope that was helpful. And yeah, hope everyone has a great day.
Perfect, perfect. So I think we overshot by almost half an hour. So I think we'll skip Q&A. But yeah, thank you, our audience, right, and the panel, whatever remains. Right. I think we have a lot of good free resources. So I'll definitely ask you folks to send them over in the email, and then we'll shoot them in the email blast, LinkedIn post, reshare all the free tools again with more audience. But yeah, thank you so much. And yeah, let's be in touch. We'll probably meet in more webinars.
Thank you, Akash.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye. Cheers.